These are 5 books I don't see many people talk about. First, we have The Magus by John Fowles. This is my current read. I plan to make a longer video on this once I finish reading it, so look out for that one. Next, I've got Voice of the Fire by Alan Moore. This is my favorite graphic novel author, and he wrote books like Watchmen, as well as V for Vendetta, and From Hell. And this book is kind of experimental, and it's kind of like a short story collection that is all takes place in the same location over many different centuries. And the first story in here takes place in 4000 BC, and he writes each of the stories with language that you'd expect to be spoken in that time. So it's very interesting to read. Very experimental, I'd say. Next is William T. Vollmann's The Ice Shirt. William T. Vollmann is an author I do hear get a lot of love online, at least more recently, especially from people like the Life on Books podcast, which I definitely recommend checking out. But this book specifically, The Ice Shirt, I haven't heard too much about, and it's talks about it's the first book of a series about the North American landscapes, which I really enjoy, landscape writing, like East of Eden. I think I picked this book up after reading East of Eden, and I'm excited to read this one by Vollmann. This would actually be my first book by Vollmann. Let me know if there's maybe a different book that I should read instead from Vollmann as my first read, but this is what I got on my list for Vollmann right now. Next, I've got Tracy Chevalier's At the Edge of the Orchard. This book is dear to me. I read it, I think, 2 years ago now, and I was in the reading slump before I read this one, and it's just really easy, narratively to follow. The writing is easy to follow, and it kind of just got me out of that reading slump at the time. And there's just some parts with the characters that I really enjoyed, and I also think the marriage conflict that we see in this book is well written, so definitely check this book out. It's a historical fiction book that has important botanist character from history in there. And then finally is The Sky is a Sky in the Sky. This is one of my favorite poetry collections of all time. It is by Stuart Ross. I talk about this in my longer video where I talk about every book I read in 2025, so definitely check that out. And that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Let me know which books you liked from this list, and take care.